Hey there, this is Kat Ramirez. I am CEO and founder of Advertise and hashtag Social Buzz. I am live today with a very, very special guest, and I'm excited to bring her on. So if you looked at the notes, Mary I'm gonna butcher her name, but she can come here and tell you it on her own, and she'll say it a lot more sexier than me. Rabago. She's going to talk about her journey and how she was a multimedia journalist and then became an entrepreneur, and then what she's doing today and helping businesses and helping them survive this pandemic. So let me bring her on. Hello.
Hi, how are you? So excited to be here with you.
Great. So glad to have you on. I need to take off the brandy so I don't have my words all over me. So you are in Arizona. How's the weather there?
Hot, hot, hot. 3 degrees is a normal May. I love Arizona. Despite the heat, it's amazing. I love the people here, the ambient, and it's a great place to be an entrepreneur, right? There's a lot of growth, a lot of possibilities, and I am at the right place at the right time. What can I say?
Yes. And so I met Mari. When was it? In March? Was it March? Or
it was March at the Power of the Purse with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We were both, well, you were the keynote speaker and I was one of the panelists.
Yes. Yeah. And we had such a great time, and I love that event, and it was amazing. And I think that was over 300 women that were in attendance.
Yes. And I love that annual event with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce because, I mean, numbers don't lie, and you know better than anyone because this is your forte, right? Yeah. Latina women, we are in the leadership of new businesses across the country. So it's amazing. So if you have the accent like I do, and you can roll your R and say Rabago, and you can say Mari instead of Mary, you're in the right spot, right?
Right.
You can communicate bilingual. And the growth in the Latino buying power. I mean, if you are any type of business or corporation, organization, and you're not speaking, you're not communicating, you're not building relationship with the Latino community, you're losing millions and millions of dollars. And you know better than no one on that.
No, and I love, because that's one of your purposes, and I love that. So before we get into our conversation, just give some people some background, because I put a little bit of teaser in the notes, but people want to hear from you. What's your background? How did you get started? What's your journey?
Boy, well, in my other life, I was a journalist. I was a main anchor for Univision. Amazing 20 years. I started in radio, print media. And I was blessed enough to, be offered the opportunity to be on a morning show in Univision, Arizona. Then from there, I moved to California as a news anchor, came back. In the last almost 15 years before I retire from journalism or the daily news, I was a main anchor here in Arizona for Univision, Arizona. 20 years in the media. And I always had that gusanito, as we say in Spanish, right? I had the urge to do something else. Everything I do have to have a purpose. So I created Mary Rábago Productions in 2013. I resigned on the top of my career as a news anchor, and it was an amazing ride. I was blessed with the recognition locally, national, internationally. I was so blessed with the support of my community, and also all types of awards, which, they just gather a lot of dust in my office, but it's what I did during those 20 years, educating, informing, and empowering my community, what was the base of what I would become as an entrepreneur. So Mary Rábago Productions, I created to become the bridge between organizations and corporations in our Latino community. Because you know better than anyone, Kat, that we're very diverse as Latino community, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So the way you speak to somebody in my generation, it's not the same way you're going to speak to my parents or my kids if you want to sell a product or a service to them. We are Latino. We have the Latino last name. They can even come in my color or my sisters. I'm the oldest of 9 kids, typical Latino family, immigrant family. as blunt as you can imagine. So we come in all shapes, colors, and we're so diverse. The same way we think and the same way we communicate. So if you don't know that about the Latino community, and I was tired, Kat, of seeing so many campaigns and marketing campaigns that did not resonate with us.
Right.
And to me, it's very important not only to sell a product or a service to my community, but I wanted to educate them on that product, on that service. So that connection and that relationship between, that company and that community is strengthened. Because one thing about our community, as I said, I'm the oldest of 9 kids. You get one of us in the door, you get in the whole family, right?
Yes, you do. That is true.
Customer service to Latinos, particularly, is so essential for any business right now. And that's how I created Mary Rábago Productions. It's a multimedia platform agency. We can pretty much, plan, write, produce, and place your campaign in all platforms. But the main thing I do through my social media, which is a blessing in disguise, as you heard me say during the day that we met, I was trying to be very private, being a news anchor in the public eye. I didn't really have a private life. And they were forcing me at that time, 2012, 2013, to open my social media. And I was so mad. I went to the manager's office, at Univision, the general manager. I said, I don't want to do that. That's my privacy. I don't want to be talking about my kids. And you know how it is,
Yeah.
Most of us nowadays, is the statistics don't lie. I was going to go through a divorce. I was going through a nonsense. And I don't know if I was smart or dumb at the time, but I resigned to Univision. Everybody told me that I was crazy, a good paying job, recognition, all the problems that comes with having that position. And then a few months later, I filed for divorce. So I didn't have an income coming in. I didn't have the other check coming into the account. And I was starting a new business. And it makes me think about the times we're right now, this pandemic, that I see as a blessing in disguise. I don't know about you.
No, that's awesome. And I love that. So I have a question because when I was listening to you tell your story, did you see how companies were talking wrong to Hispanic when you were in media, when you were in television and radio? Did you see a lot there?
Big time. For 20 years of my professional career as a journalist, what I did is to inform and educate my community. And in the midst, I was bombarded with all the marketing pieces and commercials and you name it. And a lot of those campaigns did not resonate with us as Latinos. They were in Spanish, but they didn't mean anything to us. So I realized that a lot of the agencies out there that put their name as Latino or multicultural really don't know our culture. So to communicate with Latinos, you need to not only speak the language, you need to know the culture, because I am from Sonora, Mexico, which is just across the border from Arizona. But here in Arizona, we have people from all over Mexico. We have people from Central America. We have people from Spain. So speaking the language, not necessarily is the same culture. And what one thing means in where I am from in Sonora doesn't mean the same thing in the southern part of Mexico or in Latin America or in Spain or you name it. So it's very important to know your target market and what kind of Latinos or what community of Latinos you're speaking to or want to communicate with. So there were some awful campaigns. I'm like thinking, how can they say that? So in my purpose to really empower my community, I say, you know what? I need to start my own agency, because I need to educate correctly my community about those products and services that would empower their daily life. That is my purpose behind everything I do. And I'm a true believer that what you do in life, you have to have passion and you have to have purpose. The business and the money and the recognition comes, yes, as added value when what you're doing is something that has purpose and you put all your passion into it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I have to give you a shout out. Somebody made a comment. They said, Glenn Gardner. Do you know Glenn Gardner?
Oh, yes. I used to interview him and chase him with the mic and the camera. Hi, Glenn. So nice to hear from you. He used to work for the Phoenix Police Department, and he had high level. So I'm afraid to say if he was a commander, lieutenant, or you name it. So a good friend of mine. Thank you so much, Glenn. And Great to
Yeah,
hear from you.
yeah, he said he's known you for years, and Mary's very successful, intelligent, and a pleasant professional. So thank
Oh,
you for
that's
sharing.
nice. Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. Okay, so you talk about everybody has to have a passion and purpose. So as far as your production company, when you create, how long ago now have you had it?
I am going on my 7th year.
Oh my
July
gosh.
of this month is going to be 7 years. I've been an entrepreneur, and it's been a wild ride. I don't know who can tell you that is easy. Nobody could prepare me. I
Right.
remember doing interviews as soon as I resigned to Univision and launched my company. And now I laugh so bad about it because I remember saying, I'm looking for a balance with my family and I want to have more time. Whoever didn't, shake me up and said, no, you work every 80 hours a week, not 40,
Yep.
but it's a blessing. And when you get a hold of it, and when you learn to put priorities in order, which is really what I think this pandemic has given us, and I see it as a blessing in the midst of all the hard hit that our budgets are, being hit, our economic, as a small business, we're being hit really hard, and mine is one of it. But I'm also, one of my goals in life, Kat, is to have a master's degree in life, not the ones that university gives you, but a master's degree in life of reinventing myself, the art of reinventing yourself. That's what I do a lot of podcasts on Facebook with my followers, and this is one of the things I emphasize in every single my conversations with them. I have a Monday night 8 p.m. Acá entre nos, between us, and I talk about daily and life issues, and particular when I was starting my business, I was reinventing myself. I wanted to get away from the journalist image, and I wanted to become that image of entrepreneur, speaker, influencer, which, I think I've done somewhat, good. I've been very blessed with, like you mentioned, a lot of recognition, but the main recognition to me is the support and the love of the people that buy the products and the services that I promote, that consume my information, my knowledge, my education that I share with them, and all the diverse services that we provide. And one of the things that I can tell anyone, one of my advice to anyone that is starting a new business, whatever you do, be authentic.
Right.
Do not copy anyone. Be yourself. And now we're in social media. Now more than ever with this pandemic, the social media is the one place to be, particularly if you want to reach Latinos. Social media marketing, which is one of our 410 Mary Rábago Productions, and you know this more than anyone too. Yeah. That's where most Latinos are, of all ages. And that's where you can communicate with them. But you got to be organic. You got to be authentic. So 7 years almost as an entrepreneur, I said I was going to have more balance in life. Not a chance. But I have learned through the 7 years that priorities in place is very important. So what is immediate need of my attention, whether it's my kids in school, they're having issues, they're teenagers, my family, extended family, my parents, which I take care of them as all Latinas we do, you know how that is, or myself, my business, if there's a crisis with one of my clients, that's my priority at the moment.
Yep.
So you learn to juggle, for a better way of putting it, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. And so, you bring out a lot of great points, and I love that. So if you've never met Mari before, okay, and you follow her Facebook page, and I will put the links in all of them, this cast, she's got over, what is it, 33 or 35,000 followers?
Well, on my fan page with Facebook, yes, it seems followers is about over 50,000, likes is about 35, and the 3 pages is over 80,000. I am very blessed. And to me, it's not the number. And this is one of the things that I teach a lot to clients and people that I do social media trainings with them, or customer service training. Mm-hmm. It's not the following that you have, Kat, it's that interaction that you have with them. Look at how many people are commenting and exchanging information with you. How is that person or the personality that has that page is interacting with. The engagement is the key to social media marketing. Am I wrong?
Yes, I totally agree and I concur. And you're a huge advocate of doing lives, which I advocate for. And I agree. But I also agree with you in regards to if someone is trying to target Hispanics, social media is like off the charts for Hispanics.
Yes.
And I don't think people understand how they are so sold on it. And I use this example when I presented at this keynote where my mom is so addicted to it, and she'll tell me stuff, and she'll say stuff that she found on social media, and she'll be like, yeah, my friend told me that. And I'm like, you don't have any friends. And she's just saying social media, and so that's how comfortable we are with it.
My parents, my dad is 77, my mom is 67. And I fought with them to open Facebook for them. And they're like, no, mijita, what they're going to say in my town? What am I doing on social media? They're going to make fun of me. That's my mom, typical Latina, pueblerina as my mom. Yeah. Now it's like all day long. I go live, the first one on is them. And right. Like, oh, I saw that you were this place. So I got to be careful with what I post because my mom and my dad are checking. So the same thing. It's a place where we connect as Latinos in all different ages. Most other ethnicities are more in Instagram and Snapchat, depending on the age. Latinos, our priority or the selective platform to communicate and to get information, it's Facebook. And there's let me do a plug-in for one of my great friends, Monica Villalobos, which is the president of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce here locally in Arizona. She also produced Datos, which is the state of the state in Arizona and in the country about the way the Latinos invest their money, their buying power, and all different statistics that you need to know about the behavior of Latinos who, as a consumer, go to Datos, go to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce website. It's a free publication. You can get it there, and the knowledge there is so valuable.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, and that's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about your business today. So who do you target? Like, what do you do? Who do you target? What did your day-to-day like?
Well, pretty much we can help anyone that is trying to connect with the Latino community, whether it's a service or a product, education. I do educational marketing. I can do endorsements. I can do marketing pieces for them. I can do the social media marketing for you. I can do Facebook Lives. The main thing is my job is to educate the Latino community, not only in Arizona, but across United States and also in Latin America, depending on the type of product or service you have, how your product or service is going to enhance their daily life. That is very important. So I think one of the things that I can tell you that I have done right with the use of social media is that I've been very transparent and unique in myself.
Yep.
They know who I am at all platforms. And one of the things that people are going to tell you about Mari, if Glenn is still listening, I don't change. I'm the same person 10 years ago, 20 years. I evolve as a professional, but my values, my consistency is always there. And that is very important. So people trust in me. They know if I'm going to bring a product or service to them, I already did my research, and I'm going to make sure it's the right one for them. And they're going to be treated as they deserve, which is very important. That's why a big portion of our business is also training those companies and organizations and customer service to Latinos. Okay. And my clients go from healthcare industry to school districts to spas to restaurants. I mean, you name it, from small business to big corporations. We have the ability to serve them in different capacities. But my passion is telling stories. I'm a storyteller. I love to tell stories. That's what I do since I was very young. I got that habit from my grandfather, my mother's father. I mean, he was a great storyteller. So that helped me through my 20 plus years as in the media, the traditional media. I did not start it, Kath, when I was 5. So you can start making the math. This is my 27th anniversary in the media. So I've been very blessed. And by telling the story of who you are, why you do what you do, your product, your service, is a way really to connect to our Latino community, giving them respect and acknowledge them and appreciating their buying power. Because like I mentioned, you get one of the Latinos in your door, you're getting the whole family.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And then, so a couple things. So you guys had shared some statistics about the female Hispanic community. Like, can you share those numbers? Because this was just Arizona alone, right?
Yes, unfortunately, I'm not basked in the numbers. I wish I had Monica sitting right next to me.
You can roughly say it.
But I know in Arizona, the leading, the Latinas are the leading when it comes to new business. We're leading. Yeah. We're more Latinas opening new business across the country, but in Arizona in particular, the numbers are huge. I don't have those numbers, unfortunately, on top of my head. I should know them. I don't have them right now. But I promise I can put a post here and bring those numbers to you in the comments so people can have them.
Because I want to say it was like it's like 300% or something.
Yes,
an ungodly amount.
It's incredible, and you can see that. And you know, one of my passions, and I think most of my followers are women, bilingual. You know, Latinas and all shapes, colors, and forms. But it's so important because if you think about how you were growing up, Kat, in my household, my dad worked. My mom was a stay-home mom, but the check came to my mother, and she was the accountant, she was a psychiatrist, you name it. She had all these roles, and we were poor, but we never felt we were poor. She was so good administrating money, investing, saving. I remember, you know, the savings that she would do to build another house, and I'm like, we were so many kids, and my dad worked all his life in the fields. How she made miracles with that money is, I think, part of what we have and we've been still as Latinas. So that is a natural entrepreneur that we have in our blood, right? We want to, you know, hustle and we want to make money. And I remember, just to give you a little bit of background, I remember I was a teenager and I hated to ask money at the house. So we had these classes, craft classes in school, and I would learn to make things and ask my mom for, you know, a few pesos at the time, and go and buy some material and then sell those crafts to my tias. And then I started selling jewelry, and then, you know, all type of, you name it, Avon and Mary Kay, you name it. I wanted to be independent. So one of my conversations that brings a lot of reaction in my podcast in Facebook, and my big surprise is how men are listening to them, not only Latinas, because you're a strong woman, businesswoman. Most of us that are strong women, leaders in our industry in many aspects as professional or entrepreneurs, we struggle with relationships. And the reason we struggle with relationship is because this knowledge of men that we don't need a man to lead us or protect us. Hey, there's a secret for you tonight. At the end of the day, I don't care how strong, if you're a politician, if you are a leader in the industry, if you're an entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur as a woman, when you get home, we need the same thing any other woman need, right? So it entwines a lot, businesses and relationships. If you don't have a stable relationship, if you don't have a healthy relationship, you don't have the same performance in your business, you don't have the same focus in your business, your attitude changes, your passion decreases, and then the results, you know, tells you that your business goes down the hill. So that's why it's so important this time with the pandemic. Kat, I would ask you, who are those business partners that had been reaching out to you? Not to do business, not to ask for discounts on the services, but asking, how are you? To me, this has been a blessing, this pandemic. As many other small business, I lost a lot of business, but that doesn't mean I stopped working. I've been working more than ever. I've been staying in touch with all my clients, reaching out to all clients, because business is relationships. Or am I wrong?
And I love that. And I'm so glad you said that, because here's the big thing for me is, because you're so spot on with, people are people, and your best, partners, your best relationships are the ones where you do get to know each other. And I've said this before in my other live cast, where I'm a part of the Veterans Chamber, and they picked up the phone and they called me and they said, "Hey, Kat, how are you doing? Do you need any help? What's going on?" And I loved it because, it was also good timing, because I lost a lot of business too, but we have to pick ourselves up, and we have to like dust ourselves off and say, we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep doing it because we have to survive this. We have to,
Exactly.
and we,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we have to lean on the support systems that we have. And if it's the chamber, or if it's a support group, or if it's a friend or another entrepreneur, whoever else, I am, you hit it on you just hit it, because there are people out there that really, truly care. They truly, truly do care. And they're not calling you and talking to you about, I need this done, or, you know what I mean? Can I get this discount, or, whatever. I love that you said that.
And it's so important that us as a business owner, we're doing that, not only with the business partners, the clients, our employees, our team, our collaborators, our friends, our family, but particularly with ourselves. And let me tell you, I've been in a journey for over a year now. And every time I speak in groups of women or couples, that I do a lot of public speaking also in that aspect, to me, it's very important to talk about your time. Because if you are not selective with whom or how you invest your time, is the most precious thing we have, and we don't get it back. Right. I am very celosa with my time. I'm very jealous with my time. Yep. And yep. I have thousands and thousands of people I know, but my small group, the close group, is very small. And I'm very picky with who I share my home, my time, my friends. I am very blessed to have a group of close friends that we work together, we empower each other. Yeah. And I keep talking in my speeches that when Latinas, we learn that we're not in that crap bucket anymore. Instead of, pushing each other out so all of us can thrive and succeed, we keep pulling each other down. We have to build us up with our word. We got to celebrate our triumphs and victories together, because if a Latina or another woman, it doesn't matter if it's not your same ethnicity, has a victory, you have to celebrate, because she's opening path for you. Right. We have to change our mentality. We got to be really building us up with our words. Remember, our tongue has the power to build or destroy. And I want to use mine to build out people. I really talk in my leadership classes, or when it comes to, relationships, because our emotional intelligence is so important. And I laughed the other day. I had a speaking engagement with 300 men. And I'm like, it's not going to go that well. How am I I am blessed to be the mother of 2 amazing boys. And what I want for my boys is for them to be strong men, strong leaders that would support, lead, and protect their homes, meaning their wife. Not because their woman needs that. I did a letter to them, the type of woman that I want for my sons. And I did a speech on social media on that, and I share with this speaking engagement with the 300 men also, which I thought it wasn't going to go well. And I describe what type of woman I want for my kids, or I wish that they seek after. Somebody that would be strong enough to build an empire with them. Somebody that is independent enough, that doesn't need them to succeed or to thrive, but chooses to be with them every day, to share her life, to share her wisdom, to share all the material things that they can accomplish, their knowledge. Because when you have that kind of power couples, and I'm sure you study many of them, and I get chills to see, because if we change our mentality to say that a strong woman, oh, no. And I was reading an article the other day about the loneliness of smart women. Why a lot of successful and smart women are alone or can't keep a relationship stable is because they're not understood. a lot of people see them as a competition. A lot of men, let me put it the right way. A lot of men see them as a competition instead of seeing it as an asset. Think about it. Two strong-minded individuals, they're ready to thrive. They're ready to go. They're go-getters. You don't have to be pushing them around so they all do something with their life. They're building together. So I don't see why nowadays you see a lot of successful women alone. When at the end of the night, you and I need the same thing any other woman. I mean, now that I've been home cooking and cleaning 3 times a day for my boys, and they're only 2, but they eat like a football team. I have so much respect for my mother, my grandma that did that every day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Oh my God. I love cooking, but I don't love doing it 3 times a day. I'll be very honest with you.
Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah, my mom had to make homemade tortillas every day.
Oh, so you know what it is. You make them on special occasions only.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. Okay, that is awesome. You got some people that concur with you, Vicky. Thank you for watching, Vicky. Vicky said yes. The Bible says life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Exactly.
So
since we're talking about faith, and I am a believer, and I don't know why you call it, if it's Jesus, God, the universe, whatever, you have to be a believer in a higher power. One of my special verses, and you'll see it in almost all my posts in social media, is Romans 8:28. And I was speaking to them on Monday. I talked to them about the 5 things that are preventing your success. And I believe pain is one of them, that we become victims. But to me, pain is a blessing, because in every situation where there's pain, it's also the key to your success. If you learn, because Romans 8:28, everything that happens to you happens for you, for your good. You just got to be wise enough to embrace it, to learn from it, and to use it to empower others. I think as Latinas, we were like, hush, hush, don't talk about your divorce. Don't talk about what happened. I mean, they te pusieron el cuerno, they were unfaithful to you. How embarrassing. Don't talk about it. Yes, talk about it. Talk about what was your responsibility in that. Talk about what you learned. Talk about how you overcame that. Talk about how you strengthened yourself by that, and how your self-esteem was affected and what you did to get it back. I mean, it's so important. One of my hashtags is your story has power. Kat, you have an amazing story. You empower entrepreneurs daily. And if you were not brave enough to share your story, to be so transparent as you are, a lot of people would not be inspired to do so, would not be inspired to go after their dreams, to realize that you and I and them, we have so many things in common. And we're just like anyone else. We have the same struggles in life. We have the same desires.
Yes, no, I agree. Wow. If anybody can feel Marty's energy and excitement, this is amazing. And they should really tune into your cast, your live cast on social media. And again, we will put the links and plugs everywhere. As we wrap this up, like, how can you help anybody who's watching? Like, if somebody needs help, especially if they want to target the Hispanic community, or if they're in your area and need help, what are some of the things that you can do for them, and how do they get a hold of you?
Well, really easy. You're putting all the links here. Mary Rábago Productions is MaryRábago.com is my website. You can find me in Facebook and Mary Rábago Productions, Instagram Mary Rábago AC. There's also a new Instagram in English, because people were asking me, so I will start doing videos in English, the podcast in English. I promise this is one of my goals for this new phase of I was a little hesitant because of my accent, but you know what? This is a new America. They love Sofia Vergara. I don't have her curse, but I have the accent, right?
Right, exactly.
So Mary Rábago Speaks. You can find me on Instagram, and I'll be sharing a lot of posts, knowledge about business, relationship. Here on LinkedIn, you can follow me as Mary Rábago also. The number, I'm sure you put it there. You can call me at 623-570-0662. And also, the way I can help you, well, we do consulting, we do social media marketing. We are, like I said, a full agency. We can do any kind of productions. We can do endorsement, whatever we can serve you. Please don't hesitate to reach out. We do a lot of trainings in customer service to Latino, which is a must right now, I think, for any organization in any company. Because if you don't know how to communicate right with Latinos in your area, and remember, the Latinos in Arizona are not the same Latinos in New York. Yeah. They're not the same Latinos, right? So you have to really know the ethnicity, the background, and the culture of that Latino community in order for you to communicate right. That is very important. Not only speaking the language, because we have seen a lot of mistakes being done in campaigns when it's just in the language. Be careful with that.
Right. And I popped up your website so people will be able to rewind and see that. So they'll be able to connect with you. And I also am going to share the links for you so that people can reach out to you. And I hope a bunch of people watch your lives because, again, I'm impressed by your following. Like, you have such a huge following. And I love the story you had shared with me one time where you had said, oh my God, I got a lot of men and they make these comments. And I said, girl, engagement, that's what you want. Like, that's awesome. Like, I would, because you were like, should I block them? I'm like, no.
You know what? I'm always very careful. And it's so funny. One of my posts yesterday to women was that be wise enough not only to work on your physical, invest in your physical appearance, but work on your brain, on your knowledge. Be smart, be kind to yourself, work on your spiritual, growth in many aspects, because I think that's one of the areas that we're facing. A lot of people goes into the physical aspect with social media, Instagram, the poses. Yep. And I'm very careful of what I post. So when I would start getting a lot of compliments, very high level compliments, then I was uncomfortable because I don't want to be perceived as an image, just the typical, hot, cute Latina. And that's not me. I have brains, and I want you to hear what I got to say, and I want you to hear what I can teach you so I can better your life. That is my goal. So after we had that conversation, I started noticing that the topics that I was doing for women were also resonating with men. Right. I did one where I love writing. I tell you, I'm a storyteller. So I was having this conversation with a friend that he just lost his wife. She left the house with the kids after many years of trying to better the marriage. And I'm not a therapist or a psychiatrist or nothing. I just love to tell stories and share the lessons from those stories. Yep. Don't put me in a different bucket. So he was sharing with me how he realized now that his house is empty, that what he did wrong. Her wife just wanted to be heard, to be listened to for that many years. And he was so busy of creating money. He has 3 businesses, very successful man, but he was never there to listen to her. Right. So I was very touched by the conversation. And when I hang up the phone with him and, trying to give some advice to a good friend, I started writing a story, and I imagined what he was feeling. So I started writing a letter to her from him, and then I shared it that night on Facebook. And oh my God, the response from men was
I can imagine.
Overwhelming. I can imagine. And that gave me an idea that I need to speak to them too, that they have their corazoncito too, that they need to be nurtured too. So the more we communicate, the more we share our stories, the better we're going to be. And that type of men that would be able to share on those posts saying, I'm doing that, and I'm going to be more committed to listen to my wife. And thank you for sharing this. And I'm like, if I say one marriage, I did it, because being
that's awesome.
You know how hard it is. And this is the common denominator now in our society, right? Most marriages don't last. My parents are very close to celebrating their 49th anniversary, almost
Nice.
celebrating their 50. And I always thought I was going to be married for the rest of my life. I had
Right.
two failed relationships. And what's wrong with me? Well, there's nothing wrong with me. It's the times, you know, we intimidate men, or we're too independent that we push them away, whatever the situation is.
Right.
There's all different situations. But we want to learn, because it got to be a medium point with smart, successful women can also have a thriving and stable relationship, right? And that is my goal. That is one of my quests in life, to learn how to be able to bring that. If it's not for me, at least to share the story so other people can have that.
No, I think that's awesome. And I think that's fabulous. I love the story about hearing his story and then typing out the letter. I love that.
That's what I do. I love writing, and I share that with my followers. I will start doing that in English, because I've been getting a lot of ear pulls that we want that in English too. That's why I opened the other Instagram, to have that difference, and I will do that on my YouTube too. So I have those stories, and that. Yeah. Thank you so much. And that came from your advice, saying, "Why are you not doing this in English?" So I'm following. I'm listening.
Yeah, good. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy girl, and I really, really appreciate it. And I think what you have to share with people can resonate with. You know what I mean? Like, people can absolutely resonate. And we need to bring you back when the market comes back, and share some success stories of targeting Hispanics, because I know that's your meat and potatoes. That's what you do. That's your grind.
Well, thank you so much, Kat. It is an honor to share the screen with you, to have this conversation. We all learn a lot from you. You're a trailblazer. You're opening the path for a lot of us. And I cannot congratulate you enough for everything you have done, your accomplishment. You're an inspiration to a lot of us, but particular how we are reinventing ourselves in this time. This pandemic is really a blessing. If you see the opportunities, if you use this time to educate yourself, to get new knowledge, to reinvent your business, but start with yourself, reinvent yourself. Like I told you at the beginning, the only master's degree I want to have in life is in the art of reinventing myself, being a better version that I was yesterday. Thank you so much. An honor being here with you.
Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you for joining, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, drop them. And again, I am going to put Mari's information in all the comments and links and everything, so you can get a hold of her. Thank you so much, and everybody have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Besitos.